My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Alrighty, it is November 16, 2024, documenting the sex offenders, the demons, the terrorists that are group stalking on video, 8HPN550, license plate, 8MBD345-07307G3. These are the demons. This is the people of the state of West Covina who you see on video gang stalking, and you can see the supernatural while they openly engage in terrorism on video for the world to witness what is wrong with those who will be removed from children that they have custody of, children that they have access to, while they are a threat to American citizens whom they're keeping under surveillance, whom they're stalking in bathrooms. 8NXK490. License 9EEN056, 8LOK305. These are the demons that you see group stalking in the video that I captured, 7JBK974, under the fake sun that's stationary at LARK Ellen 2100. LARK Ellen, that remains stationary over me, and as I move, that fake sun moves. All right, the sex offenders who are the people of the state in West Covina, California, you're understanding what is the pattern of conduct that they're engaging in together as one. And while they engage in these, it's very cowardly because they'll engage in it and then they're running for their lives when I go to document the demons. 7FEZ763, license 1116SEG, in case I didn't document that demon. 8BNY655. And by running for their lives, it's not as though I'm carrying a gun. I'm engaging in any vigilante justice document, unless you call documenting it in order to prosecute and telling the rest of the world about the mental illness that needs to be a part of the diagnoses and a part of the criminal justice system. License 8TVW162. But other than that, they're running for their lives because these are demons that are actually very fearful. But they also are mentally ill in that they continuously engage in violence and criminal conduct to their own demise. 66640 handicap. License 7BNB326, 8KLL096. But again, when they think, and this is the character of Satan, license 6CWG558, when Satan is convinced that he's getting away with something, he will continue. 6DKE000. Satan will continue even when he knows he's not going to get away with it. 9FVE424. 7MMM634. These are the demons that are group stalking on video. 7X03-796. 193LF handicap. This is the entity that is, again, West Covina represents the state of California. So that same lawlessness, to be caught engaging in what is, for example, molesting a child, and say you captured on video. The demon possessed are of the breed that will continuously engage in molesting that child in that same videotape, will not cease to engage in it, and will continue until the cops come knocking on the door. And even as they're knocking on the door, they will continue molesting that child until they barge into the structure, wherever it is that this sexual violence is ongoing, and until they are literally apprehended in other words, physically incapable of further molesting that child. That's the mindset, that's the behavioral pattern of the demon possessed with regard to the terrorism, the demonic behavioral pattern of targeting someone whom they're obsessed with, okay? 8H04441. 9KSZ622. And what I just took pictures of the fake sun that you'll see at 1:50 p.m. And I took a screen recording so you can see I'm at that same exact address, 2100 Lark Ellen Avenue. And the people of the state are also present under that supernatural natural phenomenon. And you're also looking at the supernatural phenomenon with the engineered light that's flashing all inside of my car. This is what I've shown hundreds of times. I have an entire playlist of hundreds of videos of what is exposing what is the pattern of conduct by the demon possessed who fill the state of California, and they're all stalkers. They're a specific brand of stalkers. These are the demon possessed. 9PIV 546 23783X1. License 9JRX 763, 5NDZ 718, 7VPK 381, 8LBD 668, 7NIF 336. Exhibiting obsession while they drive by, and the fake sun is now on AMAR and engineered light, just like you saw in the video, speaking to the supernatural, which is the evidence against the state of California. Is going to be put on the map for terrorism in California. License. This is an Asian female, and if she's not a natural-born citizen, we happily deport those that are not welcome in this country engaging in un-American conduct with a corrupt government. 8PQD 968. She's group stalking and engaged in federal stalking. Let me be clear. Her phone conversation does not make an appearance of disinterest. It's federal stalking. Understand that the use of the communication device accomplishes surveillance as well. 9NZZ233. License plate. McDonald's is gang stalking at Amar and Azusa with these demons that are group stalking with engineer light inside of the car. That's 7UBR798, 9K, SZ622, 6PKA766. Let me see, 7WVK763, 8AJR458. These are the sex offenders that are placing cameras in your home, placing cameras in your hotel room, watching your nude body on the internet. 45374R3, penetrating minor children, putting drugs in your food and drink in order to rape you, to have their sexual advances towards you while you cannot consent to it. That's what the demon possessed are. That's what they do. That's what they practice while they're obsessively gang stalking you. You need to understand the pattern of conduct is exposing a lot about the demented and dangerous mindset and behavioral patterns of this population that's engaging in what is stalking as a population, and these are the ones that engage in such sexual violence. I want to be clear, this demonic activity, this demonic behavioral pattern, it is directly linked to sexual violence. That is a pattern within the demonic community. You need to understand that sexual violence, sexual perversion, predatory behaviors, it is literally inherent to this practice of witchcraft, to the demonic behaviors. 9BPX653, I read that already. 8DSV983. License 7RKT930. P.O.C. The fake sign is over me at Officer Childs and Amar and group stalking with West Covina Police Department right now. Let me get this on video. Alrighty, I went right into video because I wanted to capture the environment where West Covina Police is intentional. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm still recording. The entity is engaging in an ongoing pattern of conduct and is doing so to its own demise. This ongoing obsession, monitoring right now in Pomona, California. But like I said, the people of the state in Pomona, California have a rude awakening coming, just like the people of the state in West Covina. There's going to be a combing through the population. They're going to comb through the population. They're going to comb through the corrupt departments. Those that are not even natural-born citizens, you're out of here. You're out. That's the immigration policy. You know why? Because you're engaged in terrorism. License 9AXE233. So be prepared. While they're gang stalking and doing so just frivolous, just all out, just openly, who would engage in criminal conduct in plain view other than somebody that is begging? Maybe there's a level of desperation, people that don't have anywhere to live. They think that they get, two hots in a cot, as they say. I'm not talking about that though. That's somebody that's acting deliberately with an agenda to survive. That's literally a desperate mode of survival. And I'm not referencing that. This is mental illness with regard to there will be no sacrifice. There's not going to be a sacrifice. There will be no kidnapping. No one believes it with regard to criminal defamation. You are shown to be the mentally insane entity that you are by group stalking. Everything that you sought to send out, it's all being returned to you. That's called return to sender, Satan. And not only that, with regard to the enforcement of constitutional laws and with regard to what justice requires, not only is this a return to sender, you are going to be returned to your place of origin. Those engaging in terrorism in the United States. That's the immigration policy. And I want to be clear, no one's going to disagree with that. Nobody agrees with terrorists. You're on the losing end of that. And this is terrorism that's happening department wide while the West Covina Police Department is gang stalking. This is terrorism that's happening citywide while the people of the state are gang stalking. It's letting you know who's sitting on the city council in that city. It's letting you know what's sitting in the courts in that city. It's letting you know what makes up the sheriff's department in that county. It lets you know about all of that. You know about all of that. And not only that, these are not only logical and reasonable conclusions that you can make. It's supported by the evidence. The P.O.C. literally provides the evidence. All I'm doing is I'm just engaging in what is ongoing commentary analysis right now. Everything that I'm speaking of is supported by evidence. The thorough and comprehensive prosecution of the people of the state of California. And again, on another day, U.S.C are mentally ill, providing evidence against themselves. Gang stalking on video. That supernatural occurrence that you just witnessed. A license 7BLL703. License 7HHW030. Those are the same demons gang stalking on video that I captured under the fake sun at 1:50 p.m. at 2100 LARK Ellen Avenue in West Covina. The same location where I'm capturing at 7:50 a.m. at 2100 LARK Ellen Avenue, the sun. Okay, that's why I don't refer to it as the sun, because that is referencing a natural environment. There is no natural environment that includes a stationary object in the sky space that would ignorantly be referred to as the sun, which is what Satan wants you to mistake yourself for being surrounded by. Wants you to not pay attention, wants you to be ignorant about what surrounds you and who surrounds you and what's going on around you. That's not the sun. Okay, at 2100 LARK Ellen Avenue, there is no possible way that the sun was ever over Ovid Family Community Library yesterday, but that's not the case. I documented it. I was there during the 11 a.m. hour. That's why you document, because Satan is a liar. This is exposing what is unmistakable also, while the Constitution, while the laws in this country, while policies adjust to the reality of what the government is doing, and it's satanic. 5PJJ010. But it is not impervious to being exposed and to being prosecuted. And while you want to be a determined terrorist, like this sex offender, license DGUZFAM, gang stalking at the Starbucks under the fake sun at 2:24 p.m., where I'm remaining at the Ovid Family Community Library, and while they drive in to get into the drive-thru, where everybody in the world knows that the drive-thru at Starbucks in Pomona, California are full of gang stalkers that engage in terrorism that was captured on video. That's exactly what this demon just replicated. The sex offender aiming engineer light on me while they're driving by me, getting into the group stalkers drive-thru. Starbucks at 3423. This is the foolishness. Again, the likes of them. If you're not a natural born citizen, you're out of this country. You're not welcome here. No one's going to hesitate either. The money spent to get rid of you, the overall benefit is greater. Okay, so this is a built-in resolution. That's what I'm stating. And a lot of this is going to be forced, and it's to the benefit of the state, because a lot of these demons that are in the position in the state of California, talking about, oh, the job issue, oh, the deficit, oh, the debt that we owe, oh, the inability to provide for this and provide this program and actually effectively aid this community that needs this. Guess what? They're all gang stalking. They're all gang stalking. So a lot of it can be aided by putting them in the facilities that they belong in, deporting them out of this country if they're not even natural born, removing those demons from the corrupt leadership, that the leadership positions that they're stealing from another one that will not be corrupt. And you've got a built-in foundation in order to start over again and rehabilitate the state, because it's entirely corrupt. It's drowning in corruption. I just want to make sure that that's clear. This is the built-in resolution for what is the massive public corruption issue that is federal group stalking and monitoring. And the entity that continuously engages in group stalking to its own demise, you're not accomplishing anything. You're exposing yourself. And let me be clear. Nobody wants to be known to be a demon. 8ZSS560, that secret is out. The fact that you're a demon-possessed person and the sexual violence that you are inclined to engage in, the criminal activity, having no reason, no logical explanation for why you endure it. That's the public safety concern that you pose. They're going to know all of this about you by virtue of being engaged in gang stalking in California. You will not be able to go anywhere without people being informed about the threat that you pose. And it's going to be enforced as a matter of law based on your criminal conduct, because there's no religious right, no religious protection because you serve Satan. Based on your allegiance with Satan, you engaged in criminal conduct under natural law. And that's the basis upon which you are being labeled as a criminal that's a threat to the public. and it's going to follow you everywhere, including out of this country if you're not even natural born. That's going to handle itself. It's currently 2:26 p.m. and it's Saturday, November 16, 2024 at 3423, where you already know that they're gang stalking. They're obsessed with my genitalia, stalking in the bathroom, and those demons that were gang stalking at Starbucks yesterday, who are going to federal prison for it, they're engaging in that pattern of conduct with impunity. That's also the significance, the core value of documenting it, because the federal government is sending a lot of messages to the country, to American citizens. And also those that are not American citizens, they're also learning by America's response to terrorism. And so the message is this: not only is terrorism not tolerated, there is a lot, the American citizens who have been put into a position of empowerment, enforcing your rights against a corrupt entity that's keeping you under surveillance, that wants to try to murder you and kidnap you and falsely depict your character in doing so. Not only are you capable and are empowered to protect yourself and enforce your constitutional and human rights, it's not going to be tolerated in this country by anyone that claims to, you want to claim to be an American citizen. American citizenship is not just based on the fact of where you're born. It is also based on your behavior. You're not an American citizen, not a true blood. You're not a patriot. And when you're engaging in un-American terrorism, when you're gang stalking another American citizen, no, you're not. License 8EKT079, and only Satan would have demons walking around and having on their houses flags 9GHL536 when you are an un-American, demon-possessed, sex-offending group stalker. The only person convinced of that lie is you. Nobody else recognizes that, and everyone else can clearly see how you are out of your natural mind. There's nothing patriotic or American about group stalking. All right, so this is a necessary message. It will not be tolerated in the U.S., and it's not going to be tolerated accordingly by anybody outside of the jurisdiction of the U.S. And a stern response to this un-American criminal conduct, trying to execute American citizens, serving Satan in doing so, trying to maliciously do so, and then remember that what the entity is targeting that American citizen, and then trying to blame that American citizen for what happens to them. That's the criminal defamation aspect. It's very sick what Satan is doing. All right, driving in circles in the parking lot. These sex offenders, license plate, totally outside of their right mind, just pacing around. License plate 9AQV017. That's pacing. Doing so while they're listening. That's, again, the mental illness of the demon possessed. They are infuriated, and Satan acts out that aggression while demons are pacing around. The light activity. This is the fury that Satan experiences, and this is it's expressed through people who are demon possessed, and it's also relevant to the prosecution of the state, because you've been surrounded by mentally ill, obsessed psychopaths and sex offenders, because your genitalia has been the subject amongst that public entity. All right, because they're engaging in that level of a communication of a sexually violent threat, because they're obsessed with your demise, but they're also obsessed with you as a person and everything connected to it. It's very, very disturbing what the demon-possessed population engaging corporately while they're keeping your documentation. I'm one that's documenting it. And that's a whole other level to the crime, a whole other aspect to the crime that the entity engaged in. They're also keeping the evidence under surveillance on the internet, online via communication devices. All of this is built into and relevant, and the federal government is cognizant of it while you're prosecuting it. And one of the core ways of punishing it and making a stern statement against terrorism in the U.S. that the rest of the world is going to witness is deporting them out of this country. And it's going to do wonders for the California's economy. And it will have an impact nationally as well, because California's dealings with other states and whatnot. It is a built-in resolution. And I want to be clear, it is necessary as a matter of justice. This is not just some sort of political speech I'm giving. I'm not political. I love the Lord Jesus, and I'm speaking what it is that he told me to expose as I remain subject to it. And I'm letting you know with regard to how do you respond, and what would any American citizen subject to it, 6VTF? 795-9ERX901, what any American citizen subject to this level of criminality by a government against them, the government that sought to silence them, meaning but for the prosecution, they will be buried in a grave somewhere and you would never know about it because of that level of an attempt on someone's life. Yes, deport them out of this country. Yes, remove them from the position of being mayor. Yes, remove them from the position of ever being able to be a police officer ever again, so they can go and target somebody else, somewhere else, start over again and change their identity? Absolutely not. Yes, permanently alter their prospects in their future, since they meant to permanently alter the life of another by snuffing them out, having them, if not dead, 6 feet under, living like a vegetable in a facility somewhere where they could be subject to 24-hour psychological torture, by the way. Yes, put those American citizens in federal prison, ship those immigrants back to where they came from. Absolutely. Justice requires it. Absolutely. And guess what? It's a benefit. While you do the Lord's will, it's a benefit to the state. While you remove those and punish those who serve Satan, the state benefits. There are built-in resolutions as you do God's will. All right, it's currently 2:32 p.m. Again, it is Saturday, November 16, 2024. This is P.O.C. Hold on, license 8XGL602. Engaging the P.O.C. as they're listening to it's like double dutch. Oh, she's stopping recording or she's starting recording crossing paths. So I just want to document that. 2:32 p.m. P.O.C. 7NCD310, 8VGK719, 7RFS138, 8ZSG903, and the specific demon touching me without my consent while stalking. This is with engineer light, of course. This is a demon that's targeting you in a supernatural means intended to psychologically harm you. All right. And while I'm driving a dangerous machine such as a vehicle, and the fake son is pursuing me, all manner of a threat to my life, while the demon is molesting, touching my hand. I'm driving the vehicle with my left hand, and impossible light covers my hand while this demon crosses path. I'm going to document the rest of them because they're gang stalking right along with him. But let me get this demon's license plate. 8CMR139 6288583, driving a white Ford F-150. Looks as though perhaps there's some landscaping materials in that trunk. If that's a commercial business, if those are not natural born citizens, etc., that type of thing, they'll be deported. All right. The entities engaged in the pattern of conduct. License 8ZFJ129. 6T84625. Impossible light while they drive underneath a bridge, which is a shaded structure. The clear identification of a demon, a group stalker, 7MBZ187. Yeah, that's 6285583. Oh, this is a commercial actor, Softscapes. Yeah, they're hiring demons. Let me get this. Alrighty, license 6285583. This is a commercial actor that has, again, a group stalker representing a business that's gang stalking on the roads and the highways. And it's not based on this tortious analysis, whether being en route, something related to your job, or frolicking, if you're familiar with how you're prosecuting under civil law, under tort law. This is, again, criminal conduct. It's beyond tortious, and there is no contractual basis where you're in or outside of being liable. No. You are identifying commercial actors who are gang stalking, and then those that are controlling the commercial vehicle, those that are inside of that business establishment. That's another layer of identifying the people of the state, and both layers are subject to prosecution. Okay, so this is Softscapes Corporation hiring demons, and that's why you shouldn't do that, because you and the demons that are representing you while gang stalking, you're both going to be liable. And by the way, they're not innocent. That's why you can walk into any of these business establishments and the P.O.C, the fake sons over the venue. As I've shown you, they're not innocent. This is speaking to a strip down with regard to the prosecution of every aspect of the ways in which the entity is group stalking you, targeting you, psychologically harmful criminal activity. And that's the purpose, by the way. That's the intended purpose where you're being gang stalked at the T-Mobile store. Okay, you're at the T-Mobile store, you're making purchases, and so you are perplexed in your mind. Why would you're experiencing certain things when you're out in public amongst other, perhaps around people that you're familiar with or other people? When you go into the T-Mobile store, why would you be having the same experience? Like, why would that's the fact that the ordinary target individual is going to struggle with trying to reconcile what's happening to them everywhere that they're going. That's what you're being prosecuted for. That's what you're going to be prosecuted for. That's malice. That's psychological torture. That's intending to cause someone to engage in suicidal ideation. All right. That's intending to psychologically harm them while they want to murder you, trying to get the perfect circumstances where they can control the narrative, where they clearly take your life and make it look like it's something else. That's part of that psychological torture while they're engaged in an ongoing hunt of you physically and keeping you under surveillance online. So let me be clear. This is why I point out every aspect of the crime, because the entity is going to be prosecuted for every aspect of the crime. Terrorists are not welcome in this country. So let me just go back to the main chorus. Terrorists are not welcome. We will deal with the terrorists that are in this country, but those that have been granted, you're out of here. You're out. Nothing is going to help save you. I don't care if you've got babies that were born here. I don't care if you married a spouse. You're out of this country. You're out. That's the immigration policy for terrorism in California. It is currently 2:55. License 8HUT655. Impossible light in my car and along the brick wall while that demon crosses path. 9KHE101. 8ZMJ008. All right, this is how the demons who are going to be deported respond to their witnessing the immigration policy that's going to be enforced against all of them. 8XRA395. Again, while they are demonstrating their unworthiness to be here. 48816N3. And it's currently 2:55 p.m. And that same 8XRA395, impossible light activity again inside of my car. That's an intentional act. It's supernatural. The fake sun is over the 10 freeway. None of this is naturally occurring, nor is that sunlight. Okay? So the entity is in every regard worthy of everything that I'm advocating, all the policies, all of the penalties. They deserve every ounce and more because they intended to murder somebody. So don't forget that. Being deported out of this country for the rest of your natural life, okay, that's just justice, and that's substantial justice. That's good enough, all right? 7BSB664, impossible light moving, dancing all around the roof of my car. License 8GHK365, 9KUX457. I read that one, crossing path again. And this is the same 10 freeway that I was driving on at 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:20, and the fake sun is over me as I was driving by in Montclair. All right, this is the same 10 freeway, and the fake sun is over me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:56 to be exact, while all these demons that I'm documenting who are surefire terrorists and acting with impunity while impossible light appears inside of your car. And this is, again, how the entity is surrounded with evidence, and there is no helping, and there is no desire to help terrorists. It's to point them out, expose them, prosecute them, and rid of them by deportation, if and where it's applicable. License plate. California is one of the main locations where immigration, people are pouring into this state. And these corrupt government leaders are maintaining a position whereby, oh, there's nothing that they can do. Oh, there's plenty you can do with regard to prosecuting the terrorists. This is a direct response to where in California, many of them are pouring in. And guess what? They're group stalking. They're going right back to where they came from. License 8ZFJ129. License 48816N3. That demon's now on the opposite side of the freeway. License, that's a commercial actor, VCI Construction. That's a Latino male wearing a bright orange hoodie. All right, while the fake sun is over me in Claremont. Yeah, this is where I captured on video at 10:20 in the morning. Mindful of the fact that I was stationary at LARK Ellen Avenue in West Covina with the fake sun stationary over me. All right, as I just continue to provide you evidence, video evidence, which is the substance of the P.O.C. showing you what is the supernatural environment where gang stalking by demon-possessed people is underway. As I continuously juxtapose these crime scenes where you are able to identify it yourself. Because where you are on the East Coast, for example, where you are even in Central California, you could be in Washington, and I mean Washington and the northern part of the region above California, which actually I hear is not very sunny very often, but when it does, it's a supernatural occurrence whenever you see the sun. There's no sun, no natural environment that's going to exist outside of what I am exposing here. Understand how this documentation lets everyone around this country know what surrounds you. And why? Because the sun is so exclusive. There's only one. There's only one. License 7TBG397, 8XAT906, 8XRA395, 9CSC918, 9MUN193, 75894L2. Eight FXW756. Impossible light activity dancing on the roof of the side of my car. While they listen to their being prosecuted, they listen to it and they continue. They don't want to be in this country, and we don't want them in this country. It's mutual. FZYPAL. Because this policy, this immigration policy, it's going to reach. It's going to be far-reaching. It's going to affect many of them, and they're going to have to go. Immigrants that are gang stalking in the state of California, they're going to have to go. So this is what I'm saying. The documentation in and of itself is a resolution for the immigration problem in California. 8LLS226. 8YFA 339, 9HNP 827, I believe, 6UXP 149. These are the same license plates. They're pacing in order to avoid more new, in other words, license plates being identified. This is, again, these are the unintelligent idiots that are stalking under a fake sun. But like I said, this is not even traffic. It's all based on what I say as I say it. This isn't even the natural environment. It's a fake sun that disappears and appears based on what it is that I'm exposing and images and video. This is all a stage that they're standing on. All right. And while immigrants are standing on the stage, immigrants are facing deportation. It's currently 3 p.m. This is P.O.C. Let me get this Vegas plate. If they, first of all, reside in Vegas, you know what Nevada's doing. License 9BH723. Crossing state lines with the criminal intent to keep another under surveillance. That's federal stalking statute. That's the basis of federal prison. And also gang stalking in California. Being a resident of Nevada and gang stalking in California, you will be equally subject to deportation if you're not a natural born citizen. So just want to point, it's not just Nevada, any state. It's just Providence that you were caught in California and we can get you out of this country. 7XAT 147. 7TSN 989. 8DOY 641. It's 3:01 p.m. This is P.O.C. All right, this terrorist license 0774OS1. You'll see the fake sun over me at this Mountain Avenue. This is where at 6th Street at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, the fake sun was over me while the Ontario police were gang stalking at 807 West 6th Street. And this is where I came from, West Covina, at an earlier time in the day. And the fake sun was planted over that Starbucks inside of this shopping center. You see the fake sun over me at 3:01 p.m. in the image that I'm capturing, and that demon with that license plate that I just recited, engaging in the pattern of conduct where the fake sun is. Demons are terrorizing with impossible light, and that's exactly what appears inside of my car while they cross path as I exit the 10 freeway. I took images of that license plate, I took images of that fake sun, and you'll be reminded of the fact that this fake sun was over me at a much earlier hour days ago. That's never the natural environment. Again, speaking to the P.O.C. that's underway from city to city. And with regard to the prosecution of the state, it's going to include combing through the population and removing those domestic terrorists that are engaging in this criminal pattern of conduct, and doing so with lawlessness, demonstrating the fact that they absolutely need to be removed in the ways in which federal policy is going to remove them. All right. There is no saving grace. There is no redeeming quality with regard to the terrorists that are in this country. And while they are, but let me be clear, they have kept this evidence under surveillance the entire time. And not at one point have they ever engaged in behavior suggesting that they will cease to engage in trying to target American citizens, that they are capable of being redeemed, and that they should be given the opportunity to remain in this country, maintain and keep that privilege to be here. At every turn, which is what the documentation proves, those that have been granted the privilege are unworthy to remain in this country while they continuously seek to take the life of an American citizen whom they're group stalking on behalf of the corrupt state of California. That's what you're also getting from the evidence of the P.O.C. It's currently 3:03 p.m. License 7NVN 412 8URE 203 7DZS 293 8R54845. 6A51630, 9CXX714, MRJSTJ, right? MRJSTL, excuse me. And it's currently 3:04 p.m. 6VVB 633, P.O.C. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes, and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C., and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state. And it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. All right, there's the stalking by helicopter. All right, and you're recognizing stalking by the specific environment. That's the intentional engagement in crossing a path and its psychological torture while the targeted individual witnesses it. That's, again, to the disbanded Ontario Police Department, who concentrates helicopter activity over Woodside Senior Apartments while this fake sun remains planted over Woodside Senior Apartments. Okay, federal prison, 9 MAR 807, 9 DTP 187. They're group stalking with the Ontario Police that's flying over in helicopter. License 7 FJB. Let me get the rest of it. 8L01787 federal prison. The population in Ontario is engaged in gang stalking. 7EJB239 federal prison. That's an old Caucasian male. All of them are group stalking. License plate 45214F2 9DMY168. And the fake sun moves as you move. No longer stationary over LARK Ellen. License 9JA23F Arizona. Okay, the entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct with the intent to psychologically torture while they're obsessively engaged in group stalking. And that's light activity, federal prison. Okay, under a fake sun. The entity is keeping the fake sun stationary over Tracy Banks' apartment at 2:24 p.m. This is not over Woodside, nor was it at 1:50 p.m. at LARK Ellen in West Covina. License 9BEN821. All of them gang stalking with Ontario Police, federal prison. 7 FKF333, 9 DTN 907. And the demon whose license plate I read, maintaining light activity. License, I can't really see that one, 5NQB033. And this is stalking in the, and that's impunity. I read their license plate. That's license plate 81124P3. While the fake sun remains stationary over me right here, they're monitoring right over their house. By the way, this is 1203 facilitating venue. It is, I believe this is 6th Street. Let me get this address right here because this is where the fake sun, San Antonio, 1203 San Antonio Avenue. License 8TTM316. And this is also why the Ontario Police Department and Mike LORENZ, that entire police department, any of those that are not natural born, not only are they subject to deportation, they're going to be producing the name of the demon that's flying that helicopter because they're going to federal prison. And the disbanding of the Ontario Police, this is the population with whom they're engaged in criminal defamation and criminal summoning while they're group stalking together. And this is the population of demons in Ontario, California. Paul Leon does not have a job as a mayor, okay? He's a group stalker just like the rest of them. He's a criminal just like the rest of them, a sex offender just like the rest of them, engaged in gang violence. This is P.O.C. It's currently 3:08 p.m. Paul Leon's going to be treated just like Mark Cabalon Talabatai. Excuse me for butchering that name, but this is the mayor of the Mark Calderon, I believe, over West Covina. Paul Leon and Mark have the same criminal conduct underway, and they're both members of a corrupt city who are gang stalking with corrupt police. That is speaking to a pattern of conduct that's not a coincidence. And those that gang stalk with the police go to federal prison. 9EZZ180, that's called light activity, relevant positioning, and doing so while they're engaged in federal stalking. And the fools of the Ontario Police that continuously contribute to the criminal conduct of the people of the state, all right, where they're the terrorist organization in that city, that's the basis for removing them altogether from the presence of the city because they cause more harm than good. They're more expensive. They spend millions of dollars stalking 24/7 in helicopters, using it for criminal activity, criminal surveillance, as opposed to protecting and serving like they're supposed to. 8 RKF324 shares in their criminal activity. All right, it's currently 3:09 p.m. and this is again speaking to the impossibility that the sun will be over Woodside Senior Apartments. Woodside Senior Apartments, let me be clear, is in this direction, and while it remains stationary over me in LARK Ellen and West Covina, there's no sun that will be seen outside of Tracy Banks' front door, nor outside of her patio windows at 2:24 p.m. like I documented. It's on video. This is under no circumstances the natural environment, and that's the intent to engage in what is gang stalking clearly, as you can see it through helicopter. That's the hallmark. That's called relevant positioning, while the police in that city are engaged in gang stalking with the population who are maintaining activity all around me. Every license plate I just read, they're all going to federal prison. There are plenty of people in Ontario who are going to federal prison, and I want you to see something else. You see this train that you cannot hear while I'm inside of my car? You also can't hear it inside of Tracy Banks' apartment. You can't hear it outside of Alvarado Gardens, excuse me, not Alvarado, but Woodside Senior Apartments either. That was demonic, everything that I documented that the entity was engaging in while Union Pacific Railroad was a means of amplification, the demonic pattern of conduct that the entire city of Ontario is engaging in. It is currently 3:10 p.m. This is P.O.C. 9HJC483. Let's see that. Alrighty, license 9TLB022 89086H3. If they're not natural born citizens, they're deported out of this country. The city of Ontario is going to be thoroughly prosecuted as well. They've been documented years of terrorism, and combing through that population in order to remove those that are engaging in terrorism while being granted the privilege to be in the state, in the country. Those are two, again, diametrically opposed ingredients requiring deportation. I'm capturing on video the entity gang stalking. That's the Ontario Police, the heavily documented Ontario Police Department under a fake sun. And let me be clear, it's not just the evidence of 2024 where the entity is keeping a fake sun at the time that I just captured it on video, including before daylight savings time. It's remaining over Alvarado Gardens. There is no reconciling what I just documented right now on video. In addition to that, there's a body of evidence of the entity keeping the fake sun stationary over Woodside Senior Apartments, which that is not what I captured either. That's speaking to the intent of what it is that's happening in the environment. And the Ontario Police, unfortunately, engaged in a documented pattern of stalking and terrorism in helicopter. And it's putting a lot of the people in Ontario, California, gang stalking with those fools in federal prison. 5KJC630, 8BRQ740, 59460Z1, 8XAN317, 4WJF684, 9GOZ156, 9BEX908, DU798, license 7UMS525, 5XHH888, 76548J1. And while you see that video, it's going to be published onto YouTube. They flew right over me at the Toyota Arena. That's equally targeting in the specific environment. While I'm on the 10 freeway, I documented that on November 14, 2024. They flew directly over me while I'm at this Starbucks where I'm located right now, where the fake sun is over me at 3:12 p.m. During daylight savings time, it will be 4:12 p.m. At around 4:12 p.m., I'm in Los Angeles at the Planet Fitness. There's no sun that would be over Starbucks and Planet Fitness, give or take daylight savings time. With regard, the entity is keeping a fake sun everywhere that I'm going, and you'll see the LAPD group stalking me under a helicopter at Planet Fitness at or around the same time. This is speaking to the targeting that the Ontario Police Department is fully exposed to. They are engaging in not just group stalking, they're engaged in what is traditional stalking using helicopters. That's how heavily documented they are. And it is, again, Providence. It's as far as the prosecution goes, as far as the way that you prosecute a case, it's very unfortunate for fools who are not prepared for that and understanding how that evidence works in a court. But with regard to Providence, it works beautifully with regard to prosecuting terrorism in the U.S., expounding upon the operation of this system of terrorism in the U.S., in California, and it also removes demons that have no business in law enforcement, like Mike LORENZ, okay, who is yet on another day letting demons a part of that department. That are including, it may very well be this demon Mike LORENZ. You're talking about the department, period, still criminally misusing the resources of a terrorist organization that has been outed years ago. They were outed years ago. This is ongoing evidence that is insurmountable. It's insurmountable and irreducible with regard to the demon-possessed terrorist organization gang stalking in California. The Ontario Police, 8EXV 546, 79304A1, 7FZ V301, 5CUF 065, 5GAZ 513, 8DGX 896. And what you'll see also in that video, because it's a consistent body of evidence, is you'll see the Union Pacific Railroad, which you cannot hear whatsoever inside of my vehicle, while you can literally see it. In the same manner, you cannot hear the train, contrary to what I documented on podcast. You can hear the train inside of some apartment at the opposite end of Ontario, which is Woodside Senior Apartments, inside of Tracy Banks' apartment, as I open Tracy Banks' apartment door, apartment 51 at Woodside Senior Apartments, while I've been documented engaging in group stalking, the entity group stalking me while I'm inside of a vehicle at that same intersection, Vine Avenue and G Street, Fern Avenue and G Street. It's impossible to hear, and it is as impossible. That's why you don't hear, while you can see the train, you don't hear any train, nor would that ever be the case. I've ridden the train, by the way, many, many times, and you are not sitting on the train with your ears bleeding. Having a train in the city does not mean that everybody living in that city is going to be subject to a substantial disruption of quiet, in the disruption of the sound of the train every time that it's running and every time that it's in operation in the city. This is what the entity suggests while you can hear the train. That's captured in the video, and I did mention that, but this is common sense. This is common sense. And you can see it in the video. That's relevant to everything that I've already documented before. That's speaking to the demonic environment that is Ontario, California. That's gang stalking. 7T82855. That's called amplification. And that amplification also occurs pursuant to, in real time, whatever it is that I do as I do it. That's demons who are monitoring you. The entire city of Ontario is monitoring while they use something like a train with regard to the method of stalking with activity. And under that fake sun, you have the entity stalking by helicopter. You have the operation of the Union Pacific Railroad tracks, which creates light activity and audible activity. That's not amplified inside of my car. I'm speaking to the scientific impossibility that you would ever hear it inside of Tracy Banks' apartment or at Woodside or in the parking lot or on Vine Avenue outside of the apartment complex. All of that's amplification. But it's activity creation while Union Pacific is a means of using the train while the entity is gang stalking under the fake sun. All right. It's currently 3:16 p.m. So I'm just speaking to, again, further analysis. When you'll see that video, I'm going to include it in the podcast because I'm reciting license plates. And this is information that's included in the podcast. One of my efforts of combining the evidence. But again, a lot of what I've captured is not audible. I capture license plates and images. It's a whole full body of evidence. OK, I have been at Holt Boulevard and Euclid Avenue at 7 o'clock in the morning, and the fake sun is over me at this intersection. And these demons are pacing with engineer light streaming across the sidewalk and up across the building, which is the payday advance checks cash. That's on video. It's in images. They are fully surrounded by a body of evidence while the Ontario police gang stalked in helicopter again at 3 p.m. Excuse me, 2:56 p.m. And so I'm just going through many of the examples that you already have. They were prosecuted a long time ago. This is a demon-infected city. It's a demon-infected fire department, a demon-infected police department, a demon-infected government body, the Ontario City Council, Alan D. Wagner, Paul Leon, and every other demon sitting on that corrupt board of sex offenders, esteeming themselves as council members. And this criminal conduct is happening on their watch because they're engaged in it also. And you shall not remain as any sort of government leader while this public corruption, this specific one, is happening in the city where you are esteeming yourself as a mayor. No, you're not. You won't anymore. You're not a council member. You shall not remain, and you shall not remain as any mayor. And it's also exposing the fact that you are necessarily engaged in it, facilitating it, protecting it, sheltering it. All right. While it's happening in the city that you're in, you know exactly what's going on with the helicopters 24/7 used as a means of surveillance. You're not ignorant about what the heads of these departments are engaging in, what the personnel of these departments are practicing. You're not ignorant about that. It's underway even at your office. I documented group stalking by the Ontario City Council. The fake sun is over my head right in front of the City Hall. That's in Upland. That's in Chino. That's in Ontario. I've documented with full comprehensive evidence showing what are the corrupt government bodies who are group stalking. Capturing it one time, it's a supernatural occurrence. It's supernatural. I have shown what is the pattern of conduct, and these demons that call themselves the city council, you're just not ever supposed to know about it. You're not ever supposed to put two and two together. You certainly are supposed to be considering the spiritual realm. Okay, knowing that they get the jobs that the positions that they're in by giving allegiance to Satan, by hailing Satan, by engaging in sex rituals, by practicing voodoo, all right, by engaging in witchcraft. You're not supposed to know about that. Engineer light in the shade. Let me capture this at the Ovid Family Community Library. Alrighty, that is the direct evidence that everybody around you is gang stalking you, and it's also a communication of a threat. All right. 8VKS440, 8NDC926, 17WE559. This engineer light is just sitting and it's entirely shaded. Never would the sun even be here. This is not this is an entire stage that the city of Ontario is standing in, and the city of Ontario is going to be prosecuted. The city of Ontario is going to be subject to literally a dissecting the population, and those that are not natural born citizens, you're out of here. You're out. 7UJW963, 7CDY946. Harboring terrorists that are been granted the privilege to be here is not going to be acceptable. That's not going to be permitted. And the city of Ontario and all immigrants that are engaged in terrorism with the city of Ontario, they shall be deported. 81242. That's on a white Tesla. Many of these government actors, many of these politicians, those demons that are part of law enforcement, the fire department, fire chiefs, because we're the melting pot that we are in California. Many of them are facing deportation. Who's going to cry for them? Nobody. Who is crying for the people who they murdered, gang stalking them? I'm giving voice to all of those people. They already died. They were already sacrificed. And nobody's known about it until now, because I am not going to be sacrificed. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. All right. So they're engaging in this against people that have no voice. And it is, I mean, it's not even something that's going to be a matter of hesitating with regard to the measure of justice required. You are in no position where you're protected from being deported while gang stalking is happening on your watch. Any fire department, any ambulatory services such as American Medical Response, years of state surveillance, years. Okay, and they do so, okay, with sass and attitude, convinced, again, that they're going to get away with what they've been doing for years. That's all going to be literally collateral damage. Collateral damage. The same energy that they put in toward trying to murder someone, kidnap, psychologically torture someone, that's going to be brought into account with regard to how you're punished. And deportation, that's the least that the federal government can do. That's the least. There's not going to be any exception with whatever that demon's job is, whatever their position is. It's creating an obligation to make sure that any immigrant, anyone that has some sort of privilege to be in this country, no matter how long it is, this terrorism is not going to be tolerated by anybody. And to suggest that somebody that's in a position of fire chief, while gang stalking is underway in that city, by that department, is going to be shielded from that same prosecution, from that same penalty as anybody else. It doesn't matter. You're no different. You're a demon. You're a terrorist. You're the one that esteems yourself higher than another. That's not reality, though. And you're going to find that out. You will discover that when you're treated just like every other criminal, subject to the same exact treatment under federal law, uniformly applied across the board. This is how terrorism is to be prosecuted, treated, viewed, discussed in the United States, in California, with regard to domestic terrorism. It's currently 3:22 p.m. You'll see the documentation showing the specific environment. You're always mindful of what's been documented. For example, what happened in Ontario in 2020. The fake sun is over me at the Ontario Town Square at 7 o'clock in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. When I'm on San Antonio at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, give or take give daylight savings time, there will never be a natural environment that includes the sun streets away from the Ontario Town Square. Impossible light sweeping inside of this parking garage at the Ovid Family Community Library, just like you saw at Starbucks in Pomona, while the demons listen to me speak about their inevitable prosecution and deportation for many of them. The entity is listening. They are my audience while I'm prosecuting my audience. And while they listen to that, they are both fearful and they're also hostile. That mental illness manifests itself in impossible light activity that just swept inside of this parking garage. And you know that I don't have to make it up because you've seen it thousands of times. Reference the latest video documentation at Starbucks at 3423 Pomona Boulevard, documented on November 12, 2024 at approximately during the 10 a.m. hour. The engineer lights sweep in through that Starbucks. That's exactly what just happened inside of this parking garage. And notable, what's notable? What I'm talking about while it happens. The fake sun is over this Ontario Town Square, and I just captured the fake sun over me. Streets away at San Antonio, that's never the natural environment. Like I said, it is unmistakable with regard to what it is that you're looking at, and they're demons. Demons that shall be plucked out of every position where they are hiding their criminal conduct, their sexual violence, their wicked, wicked behaviors while they are engaging in public corruption. The demons have been outed, in other words. And they cannot remain based on the demons' ongoing agenda to target American citizens. That means the demons want to engage in terrorism in the U.S. And that's just not going to be tolerated. It's not. So the demons have been outed. And while the demons listen to me, because the demons are the audience, they're obsessed with everything that I say, including as I prosecute them. This is what's very sick. They're both enamored because I'm telling all their secrets, and they're also infuriated. Understand how that's a threat to my life. It's not a compliment. It's not a compliment. All right. So nonetheless, the entity is engaging in this pattern of conduct. And while you are looking at that video of the evidence of demons that have access to helicopters that they shall not have any longer, It's pointing directly to Mike LORENZ, who is going to be removed from the position that he holds. It points directly to Paul Leon, who is in a working relationship with Mike LORENZ, knowing exactly what that corrupt police department is engaging in. And Paul Leon is engaged in it also, while the city of Ontario has a fake son. This is years of terrorism that's happening in Ontario, and years of surveillance of them monitoring the evidence, knowing and continuously engaging in it. Okay? You're told you learn a lot, you gain a lot from this evidence that is sitting on the record, by virtue of just capturing yet another video at 2:56 p.m., arriving to Ontario, not remaining stationary over Woodside Senior Apartments at 2:24 p.m. like I documented at Tracy Banks' apartment. Tracy Banks is a demon-possessed group stalker who failed in sacrificing her own daughter, which is why she's going to be locked up in a federal facility for the rest of her life. Her natural life. Okay, the entity is engaging in this pattern of conduct while it is monitoring the evidence. That's also why she and the demons in units 33 through 64 are going to federal prison, because this is the criminal system that they were practicing at a senior citizen complex. Senior citizens whose Social Security benefits will go right back into the Treasury, because they're going to be locked up in federal facilities. All right, and they're going to be prosecuted for domestic terrorism. Who is going to house them when they have that criminal record as a sex offender and as a group stalker for terrorism? Who's going to house them? All right, that's going to be their problem, not the state government housing. The federal government, the state government shall not be providing any housing benefits to any terrorist or any sex offender, like those documented at Woodside Senior Apartments, like those documented at Alvarado Gardens, like I continue to document on the roads and the highways. These demons are exactly the same with regard to their criminal engagement and the elements of monitoring with the corrupt state of California, whether they're 65, 82, or 19. It makes no difference with regard to the specific environment. All right. It's currently 3:27 p.m. The entity has a fake sun remaining over me. Notable. Remember, coming from West Covina stationary, that light source, the moment that I move, which is what I capture in images, capturing the population that's stalking me from place to place. And it is identified through the maintenance of literally a stage that's appearing with regard to a light source that's not the sun, that's speaking to intent to maintain presence around me in that remarkable environment, that phenomenon. And also with the engineer light, which is on its face, impossible to naturally occur. These are demons that have shown they've outed themselves. All I did was point my camera and press record. Okay? Their mental illness is exhibited while they do so on camera. They're so obsessed. They're so determined. Understand the purpose of group stalking requires a measure of secrecy. Duh. The system of group stalking requires a measure of secrecy. That has long been removed. So not only that, this is just speaking, again, the lack of logic. But you know why this is? This is, again, do not be deceived by Satan. If you do not know the Lord Jesus Christ, it is imperative when you're witnessing the mental state of those who serve Satan, those who have been intoxicated, have been filled with his deceiving spirit, who has them engaging at behaving like diseased animals. That's what the demon-possessed behave as. They behave as diseased animals. When they think that they're looking to the opposite side of the street and not looking at you, they think that they look normal, and they don't. You see them clearly for what they are. You see that fake sun above me while they're sitting right next to me. You see that circus light activity. You're looking at a diseased animal in the spirit. That's a demon. And their stalking system is fully exposed. The measure of secrecy, that's like key to group stalking, because the entity sought to take you out and nobody be able to identify that it was a whole system in operation. Okay, so when that's gone, now what are you doing? Because not everybody knows what you're doing and the way in which you do it. So now what's your objective? This is how you're understanding what is demonic, because it's not just the ongoing criminal purpose to try to sacrifice unto Satan under the law. That's the intent, the conspiracy to murder someone. That's what you're going to prosecute these demons for engaging in. The conspiracy to murder and kidnap someone. You're doing it now because the fact that you are, in fact, a demon, and you are obsessively consumed with what Satan is consumed with. Satan is consumed with the one whom he cannot have. He can't have me. So he has his minions stalk me, monitor me. Now you're getting down to the bare bones demonic system. This is the criminalization of what is the demon-possessed who are targeting. And it's the government. That's how you're going to prosecute. So they're not going to win in that regard. There's not going to be any sacrifice. There is nothing that's happening that the feds and the rest of the world are not privy to. With the entity that's targeting me, everybody's looking at the entity. Okay, that's where we're at with regard to the facts. Now, with regard to what they're still doing, so on another day, they're still gang stalking, exposing the mayors, exposing the every department, every level of government in the city, with regard to the greater picture, what's going on throughout the whole state, and that you're giving context because of the specific environment that they're surrounding me in, and because there's only one son, so pray tell, what is over them in Florida? This is telling about what's happening in other places at that. So this is, while the entities engage in this pattern of conduct, let me document this demon, because in this parking garage where they had that flying engineer light, this is a sex offender who's gang stalking. 8LFS597, going to her vehicle to start it is a method of a demon stalking in the path with light. And that's why you engage, when you provide evidence to a prosecutor, that prosecutor knows how to strategically use it to prosecute you. Duh. Okay. But like I said, this is the entity that's engaging in that pattern of conduct where there is no secrecy, where there is nothing that you're engaging in that you're not going to be held accountable for. You're listening to policies being created surrounding your criminal system and the way that it operates. While you will not have any sort of sacrifice, you have sacrificed your own secrecy. You've sacrificed your career in politics, your career in law enforcement, in the legal profession. You sacrifice your ability to have any measure of privacy with regard to your identity, where you live, where you work. Because as a terrorist, that's a threat to the public. It will be known, a matter of public information, that the American citizens have a right to know where it is that you want to work. Oh no, we have to have a city hall meeting about that first, because you threaten American citizens just like any other sex offender. And that's a measure of protecting the American public from the gang stalker. Their being obsessed with my genitalia is informing you about what you may not want living around you. You might not want that around you. They tend to engage in sex with minors. They tend to engage in drugging you so that they can have sex their way with you. And your inability to consent, and even practicing witchcraft so that you can't remember it the next day. This is what these demons who are group stalking, this is what they engage in as a way of life. While they're group stalking me, I'm making sure you know about all of the secrets of the kingdom of darkness, the demon possessed. Because it's exactly what you don't want working for you. That's exactly what you don't want living around you. It's what has no business working in the government at any level. It's what has no business having any sort of access to the public, flying commercial planes, driving public buses, driving school buses, working at around children, even being a janitor at the community mall. Too many people are exposed to them. Too many people. So it's severely limiting the prospects of the demon-possessed population who are group stalking. And that's a lot of people in California. And it does a lot of people good to enforce such policies and laws. Removing demons from the position that they hold. A police officer today, an unemployed one tomorrow, who's going to have a remaining criminal record as a sex offender and a terrorist. And if they are not natural born, they're going to be deported at that. They're going to be deported. And they're never coming back to the U.S. Not legally. All right. This is, again, so many built-in resolutions regarding exposing the P.O.C. That's underway in California. It's 3:33 p.m. And as I'm in the parking garage, again, terrorism, which you know exactly what it is that I'm referencing while I'm speaking of impossible light activity, sweeping inside of the parking garage. And you know what it is? What's happening? Not only is that monitoring, you're understanding the system of group stalking is just designed to scare the daylights out of somebody that's suffering in silence. That's what's supposed to make someone suicidal. That's what's supposed to make someone question their own sanity. And when you're criminally defamed by the state that's telling, oh, you know what, just let us take you in and we'll examine you. We'll give you some tests and we'll see what happens with those tests. And then if you don't want to remain in that facility, as you acquiesce and you give in, you volunteer because what you're surrounded by, like, oh, I don't know, maybe I do. Maybe there is something wrong with me. I don't know what this is. The ordinary target individual is in this situation. That's for a purpose. That's very deliberate. This impossible light activity, these fools who are going to be prosecuted for it, they do it on camera. And they think they're flying off into the sunset like no one knows who they are and they're not answering for it. The entire city of West Covina is going to be combed through. They're going to be prosecuted, and it's going to be combed through because all those that are not even natural born, you're out of here. So your criminal co-conspirators that rely on being in the U.S., you're hurting each other. They're hurting each other, and that's good. Because as many of them as can be rooted out and rooted out of the positions that they hold, and rooted out of the ability to hide amongst society without a criminal record. Okay, you're talking about a predator that hasn't been prosecuted by any court in California, but they're exposed as being a gang stalker, which is one of the most exceedingly violent sex offenders, a group stalker. This is the one that requires the lack of a criminal record. You never see them coming. You never see them coming. You never suspect them. This is how the prosecution for group stalking in California is serving the public, so that you have a warning. They want to live right next to you. They want access to your kids. They want to work around you. They want to work around your kids. They want to work around people that have no idea. People, no idea what's surrounding you. No idea what's going on. You have no clue, while your entire life is being kept under surveillance. All right. So these are just the benefits. And what's notable is that this impossible light activity sweeps inside of this parking garage, where you already know it's gang stalking. The fake sign at the Ovid Family Community Library at 7 o'clock in the morning will never convert into the natural environment while it's here, like I documented yesterday during the 11 a.m. hour, as I documented at 3:50 in the afternoon the day prior before that, as I've documented the sunset at this same venue. I've been documenting the city of Ontario, because that's what the Ovid Family Community Library represents, for years. What this little raggedy, this little random, I won't say raggedy, this little random, and I put that in air quotes, this little random state facilitating venue is engaging in is letting you know what the city is engaged in. What the city is engaged in is what the state is practicing. It's statewide. I just captured it at the city library in Ontario, California. And impossible light activity sweeps through this parking garage because these demons are at attention regarding what I say about them. And I speak truth. It's not an opinion that you're a sex offender while you're monitoring me and my panties are down. That's a fact. That's in violation of existing laws. And by the way, even outside of it being codified and law that we can read that are sitting on the books, it is a matter of what is a matter of conscience. It's weird when you're watching children disrobe, and you're doing so by peeking through their windows. Everybody can agree that you're a predator. Okay. It's the same thing with regard to monitoring somebody in a bathroom, stalking them, and you think, and you are convinced, and you are even enthusiastic about nobody's going to know that I'm stalking in the bath. That's what these demons do. And they're stalking in bathrooms. That is literally the verbiage, the words that are necessary to make that sentence. Is textbook sex offender. That's a sex offender that never intended on or anticipated being identified. It's not different when they're stalking you in the path by going into the male restroom, knowing what you're doing in the women. That's what they're doing. They're sex offenders. It's not different when they park in alignment to you outside of the building where they know where you are in the bathroom. That's a sex offender that never anticipated on being identified. That's malice, and that is equally predatory and sexually perverted and motivated. You are a sex offender. You are sick in the head. Because that's exactly what they're doing. When they're planting planes directly above you while you're in that building with your panties down, when they're flying in circles above you in the bathroom while you're in that bathroom, and those demons are surrounding you in the women's restroom, in the men's restroom, and outside in buildings, creating light activity in alignment to that bathroom, and the demons are flying in circles above you while you're in that bathroom. That's the sex offender. That's a sex offender's mindset. That's the group stalking system in California. Yes, you're going to be deported. Yes, you're going to be removed from being in a position of a mayor. Yes, you're going to be plagued with a criminal record so that everybody knows the type of threat that you pose. No longer do you have the convenience to do it in secret, to do it without being identified. And as many of you that can be deported, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's currently 3:39 p.m. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, surveillance in the parking garage. License 9MVP964. 8TBF 539, 8MKN 815, 8JCX 040. Maintaining noise inside of the parking garage. You're thinking elements of monitoring. And this is the same parking garage I was documenting. Engineer light just swept inside of this parking garage. It's entirely shaded, which again is a supernatural occurrence. It doesn't even require a vehicle to be driving by. I understand those are demons who are in the path around you while that supernatural environment surrounds you, including the fake sun, including the engineered light that's ricocheting all over the place. License P588YO. That's the audible activity. That's the demonic that you also hear inside of Tracy Banks' apartment. They're all gang stalking, all engaged in federal stalking. All right. Oh yeah, the one lightweight. Oh, you're out of this country. She's out. If she's not a natural born citizen, using the Tesla charging stations to engage in relevant positioning. License. Let me get these license plates. It's P.O.C. The entities maintaining ongoing noise outside while they're monitoring. Hold on a second. Yeah, audible activity creation. Ooh, with minor children too. This is a no. That's amplification of train. You have 582E37. That's Nevada. Okay, opening, closing their car doors, monitoring. DL35D51 paper. 9KFK652. And I read that license plate already. All right, while I'm sitting in the vehicle and I'm speaking on my podcast, and I was referencing the impossible light activity sweeping through, all these demons were sitting in their Teslas, gang stalking. Okay, that's another reason why if you think Tesla is the some sort of emblem of success, in California, demons are driving Teslas and they're gang stalking. You would think you would have some business, some life of your own if you're driving such a luxurious car, right? If it's supposed to be some symbol of success, it's not. It's a symbol of demons, actually. They're group stalking. License 9MJP128, and yeah, I read these. I read those already. They're all group stalking, and this is an Asian female, 9MVP964. If she is not a natural born citizen, she's engaging in the un-American criminal conduct with the Ontario Police, gang stalking, who you saw on video, group stalking, and she not only is she going to federal prison because the entity's sounding helicopter activity right now. That's a communication of a threat. Mike LORENZ providing evidence against the people of the state who are going to federal prison with him. I want you to listen, because they're all going to federal prison. That's the Ontario Police. Let me be clear who's going to federal prison. P588YO, 9MJP128, 9MVP964. They're all sitting in their Teslas right now, group stalking with the Ontario Police. License DL35D51 and 9KFK652. And this one has a minor child in his custody while he's gang stalking, endangering that child, putting them in that dangerous environment. And this is, again, the entity that's engaging in a sex offense. He's monitoring my genitalia in the bathroom, and he has the custody of a minor child who is threatened and is in danger by that sex offender. You need to understand that. And he is threatening my life while the entity is stalking by the very heavily documented terrorist, the Ontario Police Department, intending to threaten my life while he is in the custody of a child, because you need to understand that that's what he is doing specifically while those demons stalk in a helicopter, because they're group stalking together. Okay, I'm going to get this on video because they are all going to federal prison. And any of those that are not natural born citizens, like 9MVP964, there's reasonable basis to suspect that. If that is indeed the case, if she wasn't born here and she's engaging in terrorism, in fact, even in concert with a to-be disbanded terrorist organization, she's not only going to federal prison, she's out of this country after she serves her term in federal prison. License. Just pacing back and forth, going from one parking spot to another, group stalking the same. Let me get this one. And by the way, it's 3:49 p.m. All right, they're moving around while the entity sounded helicopter. They've been doing so the whole time, but I was focusing on getting those license plate. 9FRD, this is a demon, by the way, that went to the corrupt institution, San Diego State. 9FRD670. P.O.C, this is a demon that's gang stalking with the police. Alrighty, this is relevant positioning, light activity creation in the parking garage, and all these demons sitting group stalking at the Tesla charge stations. They're group stalking with the Ontario Police, which is what I just documented on podcast, and this is the basis of federal prison. That's why I'm going to put it on video. 9KFK652 with the minor child, DL35D51. License plate. And again, this is impossible light activity, and the fake sun is present at the Ovid Family Community Library. The Ontario Police gang stalking while I'm en route to this venue. DL35D51, 9MVP964. Sex offenders having access to minor children. Okay, that's what's going to be remedied with regard to the prosecution of the people. That's a sex offender that's chasing me down, obsessed with my genitalia, and then having minor children in their custody. That's exactly what has to be rectified. Why? And this is also speaking to what's wrong with the youth in this country and in California. They're being raised by sex offenders. They're being violated by sex offenders, and they're being forced to just live with this way of life where demons are gang stalking and engaging in criminal conduct and being regularly reared up to engage in terrorism with sex offenders like that third party. Again, 9KFK652. License 9MJP128 and P588YO. They're all sitting in their cars, group stalking using the Tesla charge stations While the entity, while I'm sitting in my vehicle documenting, and I documented, this is where the impossible light activity was shooting inside of the parking garage, like you saw inside of Starbucks, a supernatural occurrence because this is a covered parking garage and it has nothing to do with sunlight. They're all going to federal prison, okay? All of them, P.O.C. Every single last one of them. This is P.O.C. This is the entity, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you the fake sun. License 8A86696 is crossing path. But these demons that are using the Tesla charge station that were engaged in surveillance while I'm in my car, they're all engaged in federal stalking as well. And the entity arrives, as I document on podcast, by helicopter. That's the ongoing, this is what CHP engaged in at the Starbucks in Pomona yesterday. The entity engages in that pattern of conduct with the intent to obstruct justice as you document them. Sean Dervey knows what the demons of the CHP are engaged in the same way that Mike LORENZ knows what the demons of the Ontario Police Department are engaging in. That impossible light activity that I captured in the shade, all of a sudden it's gone. That's never naturally occurring in the first place, ever. I took a picture of it and it's gone. It was occurring in the shade. The entity is maintaining the light source, so let me go ahead and get that light source over here. While they're all gang stalking, an engineer light was sweeping inside of the depths of that parking garage. What you hear outside, that's called audible activity under a fake sun. All of the companies, all the businesses in California are engaged in public corruption. They're all group stalking in California. But with regard to the elements where demons are monitoring, it's called audible activity. All right, so this is where the Ontario Police found helicopter activity. That's an unlawful threat. Just like CHP committed this a pattern of conduct of group stalking with the state. That's light activity, relevant positioning, license 9KFK652, then drives out in order to cross path again. They're going to federal prison. That's the sex offender with the minor child. That's impunity. And that's why that sex offender is to be separated from that minor child that he poses a threat to. And this is the fake sun. Let me be clear. It is 3:52 p.m. The entity kept the fake sun at 3:50 p.m. at Starbucks at 3423 Pomona Boulevard. I have driven from the Starbucks. I took a picture of that fake sun at 2:43 p.m. Where am I at during after daylight saving time at 2:43 p.m.? I'm capturing video at Woodside Senior Apartments through Tracy Banks's patio window doors, which first of all is not going to be this. You're not going to be able to see this through her patio window doors, and you also can't see it from Starbucks in Pomona, California. After I remain stationary, while they admit to being demons, that's what you're hearing, okay? While I remain stationary at the LARK Ellen, 2100 LARK Ellen Avenue in West Covina. The fake sun is not at Tracy Banks' apartment in alignment to me, which is how you know what she is and what the people of the state, all those demons at Woodside are going to federal prison, units 33 through 64. While the fake sun was seen outside of her patio window doors at 2:42 p.m., well, not today, because it remained stationary until 1:50 p.m., which I captured on video. And then when I go to the Pomona Starbucks at 2:43 p.m., it's in alignment with me just like it is here. And at 3:50 p.m., I remain at that Pomona Starbucks in Pomona, California. And I left that Pomona Starbucks as I'm showing you what is under no circumstances the natural environment. Because it's remaining stationary one day, and then it's at the opposite location where I'm here earlier. I was here, by the way, at 11 o'clock in the morning. The fake sun was right here as I arrived at the Ovid Family Community Library, okay? All those demons in their Teslas in there, they're going to federal prison. And the Mike LORENZ and all of the demons of the Ontario Police are gang stalking with the demons that fill the city of Ontario. These are all demons. 6YTL 766. Union Pacific Railroad, group stalking with minor children. They like to do it on tape. That's fine. They like to do it. 6XTL 766. That's a demon and that's a group stalker. License 7HDD886. And this is openly engaging in what is abuse of minor children while you're group stalking with them. Impossible light moves across the curb, and they like to demonstrate to the world, understand why demons should be removed from the children that they're in custody of, while they engage in the sex offense of group stalking. They're obsessed with my genitalia, group stalking with them, going into the bathrooms to maintain relevant position, while they use those children to engage in sexual violence. Doing so failing to be a distraction, just like using the Union Pacific Railroad that's going to be prosecuted as a group stalker. All of those demons inside of that parking garage were group stalking with the demons of the Ontario Police, who are going to be disbanded and prosecuted as the sex offenders that they are. And any of them that are not natural born citizens are then going to be deported like every other terrorist in California who is group stalking. It is currently 3:55 p.m. where the sun would never be at the same address like I documented yesterday during the 11 a.m. hour. And this is 3:53 p.m. This is also not outside of Starbucks' window in Pomona, California. And that's how you identify a demon. All right? That's stalking me in bathrooms as well. 7HDD886. This is P.O.C. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast. for evidentiary purposes, and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state. And it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. (7ALC050). And the same third parties are gang stalking in the parking garage at the Tesla charge station. This is light activity, stalking with Ontario police. All right, no no license plate while Ontario police crosses path. That's light activity. Those are demons stalking together. Ontario PD is going to be disbanded. And this is why you remove demons that are part of law enforcement agencies that are gang stalking. That's not a police department, those are gang members. Ontario police signing helicopter activity as I walk outside from the library to go into the parking garage. And these demons are sitting around engaged in surveillance. He's sitting in his car, he turned his headlights off. That's a stalker. All right, and so are the demons that are sitting in this parking garage, waiting to maintain light activity and relevant positioning, engaging in the very petty behavior that's going to put people in federal prison, to engage in helicopter activity because they're mad about what I'm publishing on the internet. That's the sex offender Mike LORENZ, who's being incriminated while the demons of the Ontario police documented over 5 years of terrorism and gang stalking using helicopters in particular. And they are why the policy in the United States will be and include disbanding sex offenders that are masquerading as law enforcement agencies, engaging in gang violence, stalking in bathrooms, stalking with the American public, to engage in terrorism. All right, and anybody a part of by the way, the Ontario police is not a natural born citizen. Those sex offenders are going to be deported, just like any other sex offender in California that's going to be subject to deportation upon federal prosecution for group stalking. This is the entity engaging in what is criminal obstruction of justice, okay? Engaging in a retaliatory act of terrorism because you're enforcing your rights. Because I just went inside of that library. I'm preparing to publish my podcast, and as I do all of my work online, criminal surveillance underway by demons that act with impunity. Remember, this is light activity, and this is the refusal of a terrorist to cease to engage in the elements of monitoring, and that's going toward the whole entity. None of this is free conduct. This is where the fake sun was present at 3:50 p.m., group stalking with the same police department, the Ontario police. And let me be clear, that's a terrorist organization, and Mike LORENZ is a terrorist leader. He's going to be treated like Osama bin Laden, the threat that he is. Not welcome in this country, all right, to engage in terrorism. Well, they're flying around in circles. These are demons who are pacing. They incriminate the citizens in the city of Ontario. And you're going to comb through this population in Ontario because the terrorists that are not natural born, they're going to be deported. And they are going to the federal government. They're going to produce the name of this demon that's flying this helicopter because they're going to federal prison. It's P.O.C. That third party who you see on video crossing path, they're group stalking with the Ontario police, and they're going to federal prison. P.O.C. All right, and the entity engages in a documented criminal act of retaliation because demons who are severely mentally ill fail to recognize that everything that they're doing is going to be used against them, and for the betterment of American society, further support disbanding sex offending departments like the Ontario Police Department. This is P.O.C. It's currently 6:05 p.m. These sex offenders are group stalking, sitting in their vehicles at the Tesla charger stations. All right, and everybody that are documenting gang stalking with Ontario PD while sitting at the chargers, they're all going to federal prison. P.O.C. All right, demons walking into the parking garage, gang stalking, sitting around in the parking lot with their headlights on, surrounding with light activity. They're doing so as I just captured video of the Ontario Police Department gang stalking, flying around me while I'm in the parking garage, walking from the library to the parking garage where my vehicle is at, where they were stalking with amplified helicopter activity as I documented the same entity, the people of the state, after capturing video of the Ontario Police Department group stalking by helicopter at San Antonio and 6th Street under the fake sun, which you'll recall is over that same exact location at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. This sex offender molesting and stalking with amplified audible activity, engaged in federal stalking, license plate 8YGF540, 9KPU 898, gang stalking with her. And this is Ontario police that's acting through this population of demons who are group stalking in the parking garage. It's currently 6:13 p.m. Um, 25N3292. I think I already documented her. Let me get all the rest of these demons in here. License 9PLS062. License DC22Z78 9HRM 970. License plate, look at these real quick. 9FNJ618, 9DKA030, 03244Y3, 7FFP841, 8DQC621, 8NSN051, 6XYM703, 09481S1, 9LTS137, 9KDW190, 9KID610, hold on a second, let me get these. And again, I just captured, so I just want to be clear. These are the people of the state who are group stalking while I'm in the parking garage. So this is just immediate relevant positioning is what I'm documenting. Okay? State surveillance is like, everywhere that I'm going as I show you the specific environment that follows. And a population of demons are stalking. That's the identification of it. But I'm documenting those in federal prison as for those that I'm documenting immediately. And that specifically, basically, when I'm capturing the video, everybody that I'm documenting around me is going to federal prison for it. 9CSH002. This is giving context. These are the gang stalkers that are at the same venue, group stalking with the police who just provided evidence against them by stalking in the specific environment in helicopter with regard to a criminal act of retaliation, which is a threat to your life. The demons that are gang members calling themselves police officers who are trying to execute you while making it look like it's a part of their job. That's why police officers are gang stalking in California. So they are openly engaging in terrorism in helicopters when they are engaged in the ongoing criminal system of group stalking because they want to murder you. And they provide a wealth of evidence of gang stalking in helicopters in that specific environment as well. License plate DJ87A00. That's a paper plate on a Tesla, and this is a male. Latino, Caucasian, not sure, perhaps. This is some sort of mulatto. I'm not sure what his race is. Nonetheless, this is a paper plate on a dark gray Tesla, engaged in federal stalking and group stalking, gang stalking with the state, who flew around this parking garage with a specific intent to harass, terrorize, retaliate based on what I'm publishing onto the YouTube channel. This is the same pattern of conduct. Remember when I'm at Woodside Senior Apartments where the fake sun is rising and setting, where engineer light fills Tracy Banks' apartment all day long. Okay, the same light activity is sitting in her apartment all day long. It doesn't move. The fake sun doesn't move anyway either. It goes from one side of her apartment door to the opposite side in the evening, and the engineer light remains in her apartment. It just gets greater and greater in concentration, but it remains stationary. All right, 9MRF134, engaging in criminal facilitation, stalking on the side of the road with a method of facilitating light with the police, 8YIB769. License 6WSN113. All right, and driving around the turn circle, just like you see under the fake sun, these are demons who are pacing. Let me get the demons that are on video. You see them stalking in the path with light at the Wells Fargo. License plate 8PBX714. And it's 6:17 p.m., just to be clear. 7RDV, I believe I read this license plate in case I didn't. 7RDV152. Stalking in the path with light, 97705H3. They are helping a terrorist organization that's seeking to murder you, the Ontario Police, a documented kidnapper with this same entity, the people of the state. Okay? That's what's flying around in helicopters, and the body of evidence speaking to their repeated acts of kidnapping having no probable cause. There's no evidence. There's never any crime committed. They were gang stalking while they engaged in kidnapping. That's what's stalking in a helicopter. And these are the fools that are group stalking with them in relevant position. And they are all going to be prosecuted together. Like I stated in that video, the federal government is going to require the state's going to produce the name of that particular demon, that psychopath and sex offender that engaged in a federal offense, gang stalking in a helicopter with a criminal purpose to retaliate, because you are also aware that they're engaged in federal stalking. They're keeping my evidence under surveillance. And so you are doing so with knowledge of what I am doing. You are engaging in group stalking. That's an additional federal offense. That's speaking to enhancement to federal charges and sentencing. And they knowingly and intentionally, with willfulness, provide evidence against the people of the state as well, while they gang stalk again in another video that I captured as I walked outside of the state facilitating venue, the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. That's what's relevant as well. The Ontario Police Department has not one legitimate toenail to stand on. Okay. And they provide this body of evidence. You're not protecting the people. You are exposing, you are incriminating the people. You are enhancing their federal sentencing. That's what they're doing, because the people are threatening me with those demons that get in helicopters. They're all mentally ill, failing to recognize that they are only hurting themselves. There will never be any sacrifice. And everything that they engaged in with the purpose to sacrifice me is going to be used against them. They're going to federal prison for it. They're going to mental asylums for it. They're going to have a permanent criminal record for terrorism in the U.S. They're going to be deported for it, etc., etc. All right. So that's the significance of what I just captured on video. I want to capture those demons that were gang stalking inside of that parking garage. And this is what an entity engages in while you're going to federal prison. So they'll do the same thing. And that's relevant to all those demons in their Teslas that were engaging in group stalking with the Ontario police. Not coincidentally gang stalking at the same parking garage. This is exactly what they do at Woodside Senior Apartments, as I will publish and I would step out almost nightly as I began. And I would always include that detail, because you need to know what I'm doing when they make the decision to engage in the federal offenses that they do. As I'm publishing routinely on YouTube, the video evidence that I capture onto the Google Drive, the Ontario Police Department engaging in flying in circles over me, flying over the top of Tracy Banks' apartment, engaging in criminal acts of terrorism with the intent to obstruct justice. That's exactly what they did at the Ovitt Family Community Library. Okay, this is the well-documented and thoroughly detailed pattern of conduct by woefully unprepared demons, okay, where there needs to be a further education requirement in law enforcement. That's what they represent the need for. Okay, but not only that, the entity that's engaging in criminal activity that they under no circumstances can make legitimate, make appear normal, make appear anything less than satanic at that as well. And they're going to be put in federal prison. Okay, so I want to be clear, at 6:20 p.m., 7UGN 609, 5XUP 821, and 8TVY 098. I am on Euclid Avenue, and the population is stalking me as I leave from that venue, and they're stalking me as I go to another place. This is stalking by the people of the state, by the state of California. This is P.O.C. Stalking in the path with light activity. License 69200A4. That's Enterprise. This is a demon driving a commercial vehicle, and then he's walking outside with a flashlight. That's a demon stalking in the path with light activity, just to be sure. Enterprise Truck Rental, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. They hire the demon possessed. They're engaged in group stalking at all their facilitating venues. It's a corrupt business in California. P.O.C. All right, gang stalking with the demons off the side of Euclid Avenue who are creating facilitating light activity. 8MWN 649, 9FRZ 880, 8K85, 8K85. What is that character? 586. So, I already read that one, but I'm gonna read. They're still maintaining relevant position. Euclid 7UG 609, 9GKE 027. And it's 6:23 p.m. So while a demon is sitting on the side, off to the side of the road, and the way that this will appear on the freeway, somebody that's got their hazard lights on, like they're in disrepair or whatever the circumstances, it's facilitating light activity. You will see the fake sun that supersedes what a demon will claim the reason as to why it doesn't matter why you're group stalking, because that's all you're doing. All right, everything is coexisting with the criminal pattern of conduct. The demons presuppose that whatever their explanation for making a purchase at the facilitating venue is going to trump the prosecution for engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, and it will not. It is an effective admission in federal court. 8PCL 530 regarding your criminal presence. You're going to prosecute for malice. That's what that is. The entity is through the operation of society, the business establishments, whatever it is that you're doing while you're doing it, you're group stalking. 8B PF 132. And by the way, they've also shown their hands in a highly unintelligent manner, such as you see the people of the state gang stalking with impossible light activity that's never occurring when you want to appear as though I just happen to be around you. I don't even know you. I'm not gang stalking you. The directed light is directly rebutting that. It's the intentional engagement in the elements of monitoring. You'll be prosecuted accordingly. There is no exception. It is currently 6:24 p.m. 6NBX RN3, I believe. The fake moon is over me while I'm driving north of Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. P.O.C. 16032B2. License 8TRZ 461. P.O.C. molesting with impossible light activity. License plate 9NPM236 8ZOX657. This is the people that stayed in Upland, California, gang stalking like you've seen under the fake sun. Very heavily documented group stalkers. 5PGN552. 6YRF099, 7RNF447, 7MNV817, 827NB handicap, 9MYA 329, 4E27113, 5XPB837, 9EVU176, 9COA056. These are the demons that are molesting with impossible light activity while they're on the opposite side of Euclid Avenue, a very large, broad street where your headlights are not going to blind someone effectively while they're driving. These are demons stalking in the path with engineer light. Sex offenders that want to touch all over you while they stalk you. License 6CUK541, excuse me. That's the sex offense committed by the people of the state in Upland, California, who are obsessively gang stalking, telling on everyone else, by the way. This is how their criminal pattern of conduct incriminates and prosecutes the whole state. License 8FQR592. I got those demons. License 6AQU151, 8WZG413. And I believe this is Town and Country Shopping Plaza. They're all group stalking. And you already know that because they are on the record under the fake sun at all hours of the day and into the evening. 9KCB954. License 8XBL608. Okay. Perhaps a candidate for deportation. And if that's the case, that's exactly what's happening. 9BJL478. The entity is flying over the, group stalking by aircraft while I'm documenting the people, and all they're doing is pacing around. Group stalking by being in the drive-thru for Bank of America, license 7JCJ634, 9NEA205. P.O.C. in Upland, California. That's the Upland Police Department gang stalking in helicopters and maintaining aerial surveillance through airplanes, okay? That's in Upland Police, very heavily documented terrorism. With the people, encouraging criminal activity, encouraging murdering American citizens and kidnapping them together, un-American criminal conduct that these corrupt terrorist organizations, including the Upland Police, participate in, facilitate, and do so with impunity, like they're doing right now. And I want to make sure it's also clear the Upland Police Department is also another terrorist organization to be disbanded. All right, having ever placed their hands on me, ever placing handcuffs on me, they did so while gang stalking, and that's why they're going to be disbanded. And the demons that I documented engaging that, they're going to federal prison. The demons that are engaged in group stalking by helicopter, their identification will be produced. They're going to federal prison. Group stalking by helicopter with the intent to obstruct justice, terrorize someone, threaten their life impliedly, okay? Kidnap them while they're enforcing their constitutional rights, making up charges. Oh, no. You're going to federal prison for that, and it is the basis to disband such terrorist organizations in California. That's what the Upland Police Department engaged in and continuously engaging in. What Ontario Police is engaging in, foolishly, all right, while they're aware of the evidence, it's what every city, none of them are engaging in, ceasing to engage in this pattern of conduct. And by the way, with like prosecuting and I was literally in Upland not long ago at the Prime Wash, Fake Sun, all of that. The entity flying over the top of my head with the red plane. Okay, this is all on video. The fake son, there's no son that would be over courtyard by Marriott and Hesperia based on what I don't forget the evidence. You are never forgetting the evidence. That's why you document it. These are demons in a demonic environment, and they're also highly unintelligent. They're focused on the right now. Oh, I'm mad that she published video showing that we're stalking, and they're forgetting everybody knows what you're doing and who you are and your specific name. Even the syllabic breakdown is going to be provided because you're going to federal prison for stalking in helicopters. They forget about all that when they act with this short-sighted mindset and engage in documented criminal activity in helicopter, and everybody around me is going to federal prison right along with them. 7VZB 801. And this is, again, what are you learning? That this is the real-time threat that the demons, the demon-possessed in this country who are committed to very violent, sexually perverted criminal activity. Doing so, I mean, there's no, which is not good. It's not better that someone would be highly intelligent while seeking to murder and kidnap you. That's even more of a threat. But it's also threatening that you're so numb, you're such a numbskull. You're so short-sighted. You're so inept while you're stalking, trying to murder a whole population of very unintelligent actors. That's a threat to your life also. Okay, that's because this is how I see it. I can't believe that the likes of this is stalking me. All right, you're following me around. You're acting as though you are going to avoid justice. As though this is the absurdity of that, okay? It's as absurd as the specific environment, but nonetheless, that's a threat to your life. Okay, 9FSW554, SWTSUGA, 9KNT880, 8YIM127. This is group stalking in Upland, California. 8PUL266. Documenting the entity is maintaining aerial surveillance over the Stater Brothers at Mountain and Foothill. Over the Stater Brothers, where I've documented the fake son over me. I mean, spectacular evidence that's already just sitting on the record, documented from 2018 to 2022. There's a wealth of evidence. And then I relocated in LA, and everything documented in 2024 is just taken into context regarding what was already proven, what's already sitting on the record. It will never, everything that I documented, in other words, that wasn't the beginning of what I documented in February and March of 2024. That wasn't the beginning. That was ongoing corroborating evidence showing what is under no circumstances anything other than stalking by an entire population, exposing what is a demon-possessed population. In other words, it's not establishing that this is the natural environment and no. It's establishing the sun would never be over Alvarado Gardens. That wasn't the sun from day one. These sex offenders, 8BGJ159 and 8JPY, hold on, let me get these sex offenders surrounded with light, 6LPY131, group stalking while I'm driving in the parking lot. This is understanding what is massive surveillance, because these are sex offenders that listen to you, surveil you, stalk you, pace around you, fly over and around you, while they are all very interested in what's going on with your panties and your genitalia. That ties right into the sex offender and the sex offender's mindset. 89575A3. And it looks like 8PRM852. Gang stalking as I'm going to the fast. This is how obsessively they're group stalking. Maintaining impossible light activity while you're getting your food. All right. Stalking in bathrooms, stalking at car washes. That's the people of the state. That's the demon possessed. It is currently 6:38 p.m. 8ZRV649. This is at the Farmer Boys, where I documented the Upland Police gang stalking with the fake sun over the top of my head. This is, again, sitting on the record. And the fake moon is now over me at 1170 Foothill Boulevard. The Farmer Boys, they're indeed group stalking. License 8UAJ028, 8TBR766, DL64P69. And inside of the Farmer Boys, which you'll also see I'm documenting, and I'm also speaking to on the video, where the Upland Police, a bunch of sex offenders, gang members, they'll stand right in front of you. Oh, I'm just focused on them, looking to the left, and they know that you're documenting. It's just because I'm so well acquainted with the personality defects, the very highly psychotic pattern of it's passive aggression, like on steroids. So they're looking to the side, to the left and the right when you're the one that they're stalking. And while impossible light activity is bouncing all around inside, and then the a gang member with the city police's group stalking by making a threat by appearing inside at the restaurant, and you just get the fake sun over that restaurant, and you're speaking to the impossible light activity, and that's the P.O.C. License 8TBE984, and it's very sick when the entity does so, and then this looks all stretches their neck way to the opposite side to look far away from you, and they're group stalking you. It's really pathetic. 7GAM340. This is Farmer Boys again in Upland, California. 8ZXS800, 9LMR343, 5VRM219. All right. And they were also engaged in bathroom monitoring. That's what I also documented. And that was with Tracy Banks, a well-documented terrorist and a sex offender. She's a career sex offender. All right. She's been engaging in sexual violence while I was a defenseless child, and she's engaged in sexual violence while she's group stalking me. 8WRM612. Molesting with impossible light activity, stalking, and a drive-through. The unheard of and psychotic and wildly obsessive manners of stalking is what the demon-possessed population have shown the world while they're engaging in stalking conduct. 8XIW674, in case I did not read that demon's license plate already. And impossible light activity moving across the back of that vehicle. Okay, and this is supposed to be from the group stalker Chevron. So let's go on over there and document the sex offenders that are gang stalking with Chevron. While impossible light activity moves, showing the shadow of bushes appearing on the back of that car, and that's supposed to be from somebody that's across the street, or the people of the state that are driving north on Mountain Avenue and aiming no sort of headlights into that park. That's impossible light activity. That's demonic. And where you aim where you focus your eyesight, that's how heavily Satan is stalking and monitoring you. 6LMZ091 is in relevant position while that supernatural occurrence occurs. 9HUW309, 6WMB172, 9BOS124. The same exact analysis. This is the ongoing placement of the demon-possessed population in California. And what's notable is that this is what fills a police department in Upland, California. It's the same with the Ontario Police Department in Ontario, California. It's the same with the West Covina Police Department in West Covina, California. Okay, the entity is engaging in a pattern of conduct that is unmistakable. Now, the license plates of these demons that are gang stalking across the street at Chevron, that's in relevant position. Let's go ahead and get that, since the entity engages in that demonic pattern of conduct, which directly exposes them to a federal prosecution. License 31470F3, 5UHA578. Stalking in the path, ready with the reverse lights on to stalk with light. 26296K1. License 8JPF436, 9KRB606. And everything that I'm documenting, these venues, I've already documented during the day, the light of day, under the fake sun, okay? And I've done it at all hours of the day. And then you're understanding what was documented in Los Angeles, then going to Monrovia, then going to Las Vegas, Nevada, then going to Kern County in Bakersfield, 8PCH853, then going to Costa Mesa in Orange County. The entity is engaging in a pattern of conduct that's unmistakable. And it's a demon-possessed population. It's domestic terrorism. It's group stalking in California. 9DZH970, 5PZL594, 8HKT078, 9CPV340, 7XEV576, 7JBJ170, P.O.C. One demon after another, gang stalking through traffic. All of the most sickest, most psychotic, most ridiculous, patently absurd levels of somebody is stalking at a car wash. Yeah, that's what the demons in California do. Stalking you in bathrooms, literally stalking. I want to be next to you in the bathroom stall. I want to be in the bathroom while I know that your panties are being pulled down. I want to stalk you and terrorize you in the bathroom because I'm mad that you documented me group stalking you on State Street in San Bernardino. That's what the people of the state in California do. Okay, it's currently 6:43 p.m. This is P.O.C. All right, this is aerial surveillance in Upland, California. These are the gang members referring to themselves as a law enforcement agency. These are gang members. This is the Upland Police Department gang stalking by helicopter. And I want to show you the fake moon. There's the fake moon that's over me. And this is where I'm capturing the fake sun over me at what is Arrow and Mountain Avenue. That's gang stalking, and the entity is maintaining surveillance when I get on the freeway as well. This is Upland, California. Here is gang stalking with the corrupt police department. They do their duty, maintaining the elements of monitoring. And while they engage in their demonic duties, they are being acquainted with federal prison terms. 8YTY918. This is documentation of impunity. Let me be clear. Those demons of the corrupt police departments, they're acting in concert with these demons who are equally hostile, acting with equal level of impunity, with equal knowledge. So now that they are engaging as one team, the one team's getting each other in trouble. This demon's going to federal prison. This demon's going to federal prison. 7VWUM770. This demon's going to federal prison. CN66F70 paper plate. And that demon, 9FCZ036. The entity is stalking on an ongoing basis by aircraft and by helicopter. And this literally is the same ARCO where I'm capturing the fake sun in its zenith right here over me in Upland, California, where I documented Montclair police group stalking. It's on the podcast. I documented Upland police crossing path under the fake sun that remains over me. And it's no coincidence. Moon remains over me as I'm coming from the Ovid Library, as I'm driving up Euclid Avenue. And now I'm on, this is what is mountain. The fake moon remains over me. And remember, it remains over me back to West COVINA as I was living at Alvarado Gardens. The fake sun over my apartment during the day, over my office during the day, the fake moon over my apartment at night. This is the P.O.C. It's currently 6:46. P.O.C. So you're mindful of the big picture. You've got West Covina police gang stalking. You've got Pasadena police. You have California Highway Patrol gang stalking. You have the Ontario police group stalking. You have the Upland police group stalking. And they're all surrounded by what is the identification of a specific environment. This is a demon-possessed population, as I remain in Southern California, showing you what is a pattern of conduct. And it is unmistakable as you pay attention to the things that I've pointed out to you, which are supernatural, respectively, each and every aspect of it. It's also beyond any coincidence that they engage in the same behavioral patterns, specifically via the aerial surveillance aspect of the P.O.C. And also the timing with which, while I happen to be documenting something, if it's just a figment of my imagination, they participate and engage in a pattern pursuant to what I'm imagining all the time. All right. It's currently 6:47 p.m. I want to make sure that I'm also documenting the entity that is gang stalking through a demon that comes onto the gas station. All right. And the demon that comes onto the property, again, begging the federal government to put them in federal prison, begging for deportation if they're not a natural born citizen. Who are we to not oblige? OK, this third party's license plate 8YTY918. And the demons, who are the people of the state in Upland, California, are engaging in group stalking with a corrupt terrorist organization by virtue of traffic. This is how easily they engage in their satanic targeting system. All I did was get very little, because it's not enough. They all deserve federal prison because they're all group stalking together. Dos Mundos Kitchen right across the street, on the opposite side of this brick wall, that's a corrupt business. They're gang stalking while they're serving food. Okay, they're engaging in relevant positioning under the fake sun, at nightfall under the fake moon, amongst impossible light activity. What will supersede whatever you claim to be doing is state surveillance. And that's how an entire state is going to be stripped down with the federal prosecution. It's currently 6:49 p.m. The third party that engages in crossing a path, showing an ongoing obsession, because no sane person would run 500 miles per hour like these demons do into a federal prison term, because that's exactly where they're going. That's exactly where they're going. It's currently, again, 6:49 p.m. This is P.O.C. EF404. Handicap 9JEB359. These are the gang stalkers acting with the state that's maintaining plane activity, like they're taking off over the freeway at low elevation. This is the unintelligent conduct they engage in, for example, over Woodside Senior Apartments. Like there's some Terminal 2 or Terminal 4 at the parking lot of the senior citizen apartment complex. It's called stalking by planes, maintaining aerial surveillance, their crossing path. License 8UOP732. And the entity is obsessively maintaining surveillance as it's being documented. That's going to be a separate federal offense. It's called an impermissible threat. The government shall not threaten the life of an American citizen and maintain their freedom in order to tell about it. You're going to be locked up in federal prison. And I mean specific people. It's not going to be, there's no broadness, it's so far ambiguous it's impossible to ascertain. No, none of that. You are going to federal prison for acting with impunity, maintaining aerial surveillance, gang stalking. All you're doing is gang stalking, California. And the feds know that. 7LLU305. License plate. This is Upland, California, getting on the 10 freeway. License. Driving a white van. Light activity as I look to their van. 85247V3. A van full of demons. Group stalking. License. I just documented them. It is currently 7:02 p.m. Again, this is how pathetic this is. This is the population. These are violent sex offenders that hold newborn babies while they're gang stalking, engaging in a sex offense of another. 9HUW248. Stalking me to the library. Stalking me while I'm parked, sitting inside of my car. Stalking me while I'm in the bathroom. Stalking me while I go to the gas station. Something as mundane and boring as not to demons. They cannot get enough. They're stalking. They're obsessed. Stalking at a gas station. Who does that? Demons do. 42PH45. Group stalking at the drive-thru for fast food. Group stalking on the roads and the highways. Using whole airports, centering their operations around one person that they are gang stalking. May I clarify something for you? If the entity, the state has so much money to waste, let me be clear. The demon's faces who you're looking at talking about how much money they need for this emergency situation over here, and for this deficit, this debt that we owe over there, for the inadequate resources that we have to fund the programs that we need for the people in the state over here, they're lying to you. Billions of dollars are being wasted on criminal activity. 89525E3. And since they have so much money that's sitting around, it's readily available. 9PLS925. There will be plenty of funds found upon the prosecution of the state of California. Plenty of money found upon the deportation of the demons who are group stalking in California. Plenty of funds found and discovered upon the federal imprisonment of those that will never be getting out. And so any state funds that they have go right back into the state treasury. Goes right back into the state treasury. Terrorists that are not qualified to receive any such funds in the first place is going right back into the state treasury. These built-in resolutions, I just want to be clear, this public corruption is much of the cause, if not all of the reason why the state of California is supposedly in so much debt, but yet they have so much money to, you know how expensive it is to keep helicopters gassed up and planes? You're trying to maintain the facade of being a legitimate airport. You've got your destinations, your flight, your arrival and departures, but there's a whole other aspect that you're not publicizing. The fact that you're group stalking through that same airport, which requires a lot of money. It even requires a lot of money to maintain that secrecy. They have so much money, let me be clear. The state will find money when many of these airports cease to exist. When many of these police departments that are corrupt, they just cease to exist altogether. And start over anew. It's much more economical to have law-abiding law enforcement agencies. It's much more affordable for the state. This criminal conduct that the state engages in, it costs a lot more money. It's very, very expensive. This is built into the prosecution of the state. It is currently 7:05 p.m. License 9JFR 342. Looks like 9PCA 412. Yeah, 9PCA 412. The same van full of demons remaining in relevant position in front of me. 89525E3. 8MWT 355. 8VPF 633. License 8WEF 656. And the entity is maintaining a fake moon in alignment, which will be over, like it was the night before, over me at the same street where I captured the fake sun until 1:50 in the afternoon. 1:50 in the afternoon. 38313S3, which is the evidence that these are all demons that fill the state and they're all stalking, and the entire jig is up. 9BNV 408. This is P.O.C. That's West Covina Police. That's Richard Bell, okay, who's going to be fired. He's lost his job. This is the second time they're flying over by helicopter. This is West Covina Police. They engage in gang stalking under the fake sun that's over me during the day and under the fake moon at night. These are demons. Stalking with the demons who are the people of the state. Flying over the street, flying over my vehicle, gang stalking together with these demons and my vehicle were impossible light activity. West Covina Police Department is filled with demons just like the Ontario Police Department, just like Upland Police Department. The entities engaging in the pattern of conduct surveillance by helicopter, targeting my location, which you're also recognizing through the demonic imitation of a natural environment that's centered on where I'm located. This is P.O.C. and this is exactly what the demons of West Covina are engaging in. What Mark, the demon-possessed mayor, is engaging in, knows exactly what the demons of the West Covina Police Department and the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department are practicing as a corrupt city and a corrupt state. All right, it is currently 8:22 p.m. This is P.O.C. The demons of the West Covina Police Department. This is the second time they're flying over. That's impossible light activity. That's not the product of somebody driving beside your vehicle, headlights shooting at the top, just like you see during the day. Sunlight is not coming from the sun, direct coming on the inside of the vehicle and then flashing all above on the roof. This is engineer light at nightfall. The demon possessed are gang stalking with the West Covina police. This is P.O.C. It is current. This is 2100 LARK Ellen Avenue, where you saw up until 1:50 p.m., which is 6 hours total station, where I'm capturing it in the morning at 7:50 a.m. West Covina police are demons, and they're gang stalking with the people of the state. That's the pattern of conduct while they're pacing. That's P.O.C. This is surveillance that they're engaging in. And the city of West Covina, the demon that's calling himself a mayor, if he's not a natural-born citizen, Mark is going to be deported. P.O.C. 9:18 p.m. And the people of the state are engaged in an ongoing sex offense. And this sexual violence, this is molesting my breast. They're molesting my thighs. This is all impossible light activity. As I've shown you the impossible light activity as it occurs inside of buildings, as it occurs even inside of the vehicle, which is clearly on its face, you can see the supernatural. The entity engages in sexual violence but with that same impossible light activity and molesting your body with it. And the entity engages in more and more of this at a greater concentration of light, at a greater frequency, more and more demons repeating this while I am in the process of capturing video. The West Covina Police Department, which is the criminal activity, the criminal facilitation of this demon, Richard Bell, by virtue of the demonic activity that the West Covina Police Department are practicing in conformity to a long documented pattern of conduct throughout the state. And so as I document this on video, for example, at 8 o'clock, the entity is engaging in what a greater and greater frequency and greater concentration of impossible light activity that's reaching down where the floor mats are, along a very thick, brightly colored fluorescent shade of engineer light that's streaming through. It looks like light just streaming through every demon that's driving by my vehicle. It's moving along my thighs, down where my legs are at the bottom of the car. Absolutely impossible light activity. The entity does so with an intent to terrorize and harass you while I'm capturing, while you're documenting, while you're publishing, while you're speaking to demons, while you're speaking to the deportation of the likely a foreign mayor of West Covina. And I'm referencing his name is Mark. And if he is not, again, a natural born citizen, Mark is going to be treated like every other sex offender in the city of West Covina. Mark is going to be deported. Mark is an immigrant that's not welcome in this country. If on his watch, he is engaged in group stalking, period. But he is engaged in group stalking while unjustly holding a position as the mayor of this entirely corrupt city, acting toward my murder and kidnapping, and doing so even more profusely as I enforce my rights and I document the very unique pattern of conduct which is surrounding the city of West Covina, which is the prosecution of the entire state of California, because it's in conformity to what is already sitting on the record. Now, that is speaking to the deportation of the so-called mayor of West Covina and the removal, the plucking out of the demon that calls himself a chief of police. Richard Bell is no chief of police. And whatever this demon wants to esteem himself as, he has met the last days of his position in that with that department and ever with law enforcement. Let me be clear. It's not just the fact that he's fired as a chief of police with West Covina Police in the state of California. It's with law enforcement. Once you are engaged in, and by virtue of the department practicing federal group stalking and monitoring, you are fired as the chief of police. You are fired as the mayor. And if anyone in that department, anyone sitting on a government body where they're group stalking with the people of the state, the demons who are exposing the entire city, okay, they're doing so with regard to threatening your own ability to remain in your gambling, your ability to remain in this country. Okay, and that's why I'm referencing the mayor. As I document this, as I recite this, you'll see the videos uploaded to YouTube right now. It's currently 9:21 p.m. It's already published online. I'm currently in the process of uploading the podcast, and I want to make sure that I document the sexual violence of Richard Bell, that I document the sexual violence of Mayor Calderon Tabatay, Mark Calderon Tabatay, if that's the correct pronunciation. This is the current mayor of West Covina. You need to understand that what the people of the state are doing, they're doing it in the shoes of the state. It's the state's criminal pattern of conduct. The state sought to maliciously and cleverly disguise itself as the ordinary American citizen who's free to be on the sidewalk beside you, who's free to be in the parking lot in front of you, who's free to be on the freeway beside you in traffic, who's free to be even in your house or be next door to you, to park on the curb outside of your house where you live, free to be in the hotel room beside beside you, free to work wherever it is that you're going, and they're not free to do any of the above. First of all, because they're present on behalf of the government, who has no lawful right under the Constitution or based on your human rights to keep you under surveillance by group stalking. Secondly, they have no right because the specific environment is showing where nobody has any right whatsoever to be present around you, because they're engaging in criminal surveillance on behalf of that government that likewise has no constitutional right to do so. While I'm documenting this, the entity engages in sexual violence. This is on the watch of the mayor of West Covina, a sex offender. While impossible light activity, which you know, the light activity that you see filling Starbucks, that you see filling my vehicle, is down where my feet are, where my legs are in my vehicle, touching and coating my thighs and my breast, okay, repeatedly, one vehicle after another vehicle, repeatedly touching my breast. I want you to understand the predatory mindset behind, first of all, what is impossible light activity to group stalk you, to keep you under surveillance, to monitor you, to psychologically torture you, and then to do so in a sexually perverted manner with an ongoing increased method of trying to harass you and terrorize you and also touch all over your body. That's what the population of West Covina is engaging in, while they are all keeping under surveillance everything that I'm publishing on the internet. And that includes the video documentation. And so this is being put on the podcast because the mayor is going to be prosecuted. The mayor is subject to the same exact prosecution as the city of West Covina. Okay. And this is a sex offender. This is a demon-possessed group stalker. This is the same exact population. This person that calls himself a mayor is a demon, and they are a violent sex offender, and the population is acting in concert with this mayor of West Covina. So are the demons calling themselves, esteeming themselves as a police department. They are not that. Just because Satan has put on those uniforms, just because Satan has stolen, usurped these positions, that does not make it official. Okay? In the same way that people in America, in California, are engaging in un-American conduct, terrorism, you are as un-American as anybody that has illegally crossed the border. All right. And you're going to be treated like the threat that you are to national security. So it's currently 9:24 p.m. I want to make sure that I'm documenting the terrorism, harassment, and sexual violence of the demon possessed who are molesting repeatedly hundreds of times. All right. The buildup of traffic is a buildup of demons who are monitoring. They're pacing all around me, and they're touching all over my breasts and my thighs with extraordinarily ridiculous methods of light activity, because they're hostile regarding their criminal conduct that they foolishly engage in, while I have been documenting and I will continue to document it. So you're understanding a sex offender that's angry because you're documenting their sexual violence. Understand the mental illness of the demon possessed, who will be removed from chief of police, who will be removed from West Covina Police Department, who will be removed from this country with regard to any immigrant status of a group stalker. Anybody in that position is going to be plucked out of this state and out of this country. And I mean that. All right. The city is filled with sex offenders, and the demon possessed engage in it through supernatural matters. They want to touch all over your body. They want to be next to you while you pull your panties down in the bathroom. They want to follow you everywhere you go, including to the car wash, including to the grocery store, including while you're sitting in a drive-thru just ordering something to eat. All right. And you have to order that food, by the way, from the people of the state who work at that venue. But I'm speaking about the demons that are following you from place to place. It's the same thing with regard to going to a facilitating venue where you're ordering your food. They are following you while they are the facilitating venue as you go to that location, and the specific environment arrives over you, around you. Understand group stalking. It's not based on somebody physically following you to the place. The entity is maintaining presence all around you everywhere that you're going. That's how you're group stalking, and you are following as a business establishment while the specific environment is where you work and the target individual goes there. And that's exactly how you're going to be prosecuted for the malicious engagement, trying to criminally defame another whom you want to murder and kidnap. Because that's the structure and the malice behind group stalking. It's currently 9:25 p.m. This is publishing on podcast the sex offender that is the current mayor of West Covina, and the demons, the sex offenders, the gang members that are a West Covina Police Department. This is bringing shame to law enforcement, and this is the reality of what's going on throughout the state of California. And there is no coincidence. That's why you have the demons who fill the city of West Covina, essentially the state of California, who are engaging in surveillance in the middle of the night. As a city, they're engaging in surveillance. This is what they're occupied with. All right. And this is, again, speaking to the public safety concerns. Currently 9:26 p.m. This is P.O.C.